Once upon a time, there was a little girl, a good little girl, the kind of little girl that other mothers pointed to on grocery store candy aisles as an example of exemplary behavior. She was good and she never cried, until one day she came home and discovered her father had turned to stone. Her name was Mary. That too. Phone calls were made. Doctors were consulted, and specimens were chipped away in unvital places for research to be done. But nothing came back positive. There were no answers to be had. And so as time passed, Mary's mother, a practical woman, started using his outstretched hand as a place to hold keys and dangle purses, and the rest of him as a lumpy coat rack. It was then that Mary started crying. She'd prayed the prayers of a normal little girl, asked the man in the moon for help, and then the tears begun. Not the normal snotty tears of a typical child, though she did cry those at first. But when that well was exhausted, another one was found, and what leaked out of her eyes were not saltwater streams, but silver dribbles of mercury, leaking down, dripping off her chin, to fall upon the ground. Mary was rather like a hazardous materials pepper shaker, and the EPA was not amused.
"You've got to stop,"
said her mother.
"I can't,"
she said. Even when she was happy, the tears wouldn't stop flowing now.
"You're a health hazard. The other children won't play with you."
"I know,"
said Mary, still with silver trailing down her cheeks. And the school called, and the EPA called, and the doctors looked at her and the shrinks listened to her. Only no one could turn her father back from stone, and so she couldn't really stop crying, not all the way. So her mother invested money in a new name and a new house, and when they got there, she shut Mary up in her upstairs room and barricaded the door. Her only friend was her teddy bear, Teddy B, whom she dutifully shared her small meals with.
"Look, Mary,"
he began one afternoon.
"We've got to rescue your father."
But how was a little girl supposed to free herself from the room that she was locked in?
"But..."
"No buts, Mary.
He shook his time-curled head.
This room has 3 other exits. We must use one of them."
She bit her lip in contemplation and looked around. There was a closet, a mirror, and a window.
"It's either that or stay here forever. Maybe even drown."
As usual, Teddy B was right. There was a centimeter of mercury pooled on the floor, and it rippled every time she walked.
"Which one do we take first?" "The closet. The closet is always the worst."
Tucking Teddy B underneath her arm, they went in. Closets don't lead to imaginary kingdoms. Most children know this, and they'd find that one story from England to be bunk only that, due to discrepancies between British and American vocabulary, they're not quite sure what a wardrobe is, because in America, children know that bad things lurk in closets. And Mary's closet was no exception to this rule.
"Hello?"
She shouted down at whatever might be in the back of her closet, as the door closed behind her and the darkness folded in.
"Hello?"
Something shouted back from below. It had a mucky voice, phlegmatic. It spoke of sewers and of rot.
"What are you?"
She called ahead and got an echoed,
"What are you?"
in response.
"That's not funny,"
Mary said.
"That's not funny,"
said whatever it was lurking ahead.
"Teddy B, I want to leave."
She whispered.
"You should leave while you still can."
"I think he's right."
Teddy B whispered back.
"I know I'm right,"
said the voice from below. Mary nodded to herself, turned around and ran back up until her hand touched drywall, and she walloped her head on the inside of her closet door. She opened the door, skidding out onto the silver pond of her tears, gasping with relief.
"That didn't go very well,"
Teddy B said.
"No, it didn't,"
shouted a voice from behind her, thick and gummy, and she closed the door upon it. The next few days passed as they had before, with her crying even when she smiled, and the level of mercury in her room inching upwards. She listened at the door some and heard her mother entertaining company below.
"Why, yes. I had that piece commissioned."
She heard her mother say.
"It's worth how much? Really?"
Mary looked at Teddy B.
"It's time to go."
The moon is full.
Teddy B suggested. Mary nodded. The window it was. The moon was full tonight, and now, like all the other full moons she'd ever seen, the man in the moon was smiling at her.
How do I get up there?
She asked him.
Like you do everything else in life, little girl. Take a step.
Mary nodded and did. The silver of her tears, which had never held shape or form before, arced out before her in a metallic rainbow, surging forward with each of her steps. She walked until she couldn't remember not walking, until her feet found the surface of the moon. And there he was, a man, sitting sagely upon it. Around him were ungainly piles of random things, socks, marbles, and bottles labeled wits. He was the color of rock, and she was a bit cold from the night air.
Hello, little girl,
he said.
Hello, Moon.
What brings you here?
I need to know how to bring a statue back to life.
Why would you want to do that? Being a statue sounds like a fine occupation to me. I'm sure I've got a collection of them up here somewhere. Mostly small painted gnomes, really.
Because the statue is my father.
Oh, that's a different kettle then.
The man in the moon regarded her, his smile unending.
Were you a bad child?
Mary thought about her childhood, all the times she could have taken the shortcut through the bad neighborhood but didn't. The times she'd gone to church on time and really tried to listen instead of falling asleep. And, last and most particularly painful, the time she gave someone back their dropped quarter instead of keeping it to buy a snow cone on a summer day.
No, not once, never.
She answered truthfully.
Then why do you cry?
I cannot control it. I'd stop if I could, really.
Mary made a heap of jangled keys smooth with her palm and sat upon it.
I don't know how. Do you?
That is a tough question, little girl. You're full of tough questions.
And she nodded. She knew it was, and that they were, since she'd thought of nothing else for quite some time.
You don't have to answer them, you know.
He said, his smile never once creasing.
But you could always stay here with me. The moon is very pleasant this time of year.
She looked around. It was cold and desolate, except for the piles of things, which really only seemed to add to the desolation. Her feet rested upon a loose stack of collars with tags that read Fluffy or Queenie that her tears were sliding off of.
Stay and forget things.
The moon continued.
It is much easier to forget than to remember.
It's a little lonely for my tastes.
Mary said.
It's why I sleep most of the time.
And as if to illustrate this, he put a hand to his mouth, hiding a languorous yawn. Mary felt it stretch across to her, like a contagion, and urge her own lips to do the same.
Mary, we need to go home now.
But I'm so tired, Teddy B. And I'm not hurting anyone here, am I?
And Teddy B didn't have a good answer for this at first, until one occurred to him.
You're hurting yourself.
How?
Mary tucked him under her arm and leaned over to nestle against the keys.
I don't know, but you just are.
Teddy B said. His mind wasn't meant for complexities.
It is too. She has to wake up.
He wriggled in an effort to wake her, but found himself in a terrifying situation. Free of her arms, he was beginning to drift away.
Mary, don't forget your father, Mary.
He cried down to her from the beginning of his low orbit. A lighter passed by him, and he threw it at her.
Mary, don't forget me.
The lighter made a slow arc and beamed her between the eyes.
Mary!
He screamed.
Teddy!
And she opened her eyes and caught the spinning lighter, and there he was, floating off into space like all the other lost debris. But he wasn't really lost, and neither was she. Almost, but not quite. She looked down to see where the tears from her eyes had merged with the keys below her into a silver nest, and she saw her own face, taking on the grey cast of the man's, and her lips curling upwards into an impossible and definitely non-genuine grin. She gasped in horror, and her mouth made a perfect moon-shaped O.
I need to go home now.
Your home didn't sound like much of a home to me, little girl.
It's not, but at least it's mine.
Good night then, little girl. I'll be sleeping right here. Say hello again sometime.
And then the silver beneath her formed steps, first over to where Teddy B was swimming against nothingness, and then back down towards the window of her home.